Hello my people, FinerBub here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today we're talking about the Slide Mountain Trail, the most popular route to the highest peak in the Catskills, which makes for a pretty easy day hike that can be modified into a nice overnight backpacking trip for those who wish to camp out. Throughout the video, I'll cover the basic info that I think you need to know if you plan to hike this trail yourself, and towards the end I'll share my personal thoughts after having bagged this peak for the 4th time. But before we get into that, just a little tidbit for those of you who don't know. On this channel, I'm all about sharing my thoughts and experience on the best spots to check out and the best gear to bring with. So if, like me, you'd like to spend more time outside appreciating the finer things in life, do yourself a favor and consider subscribing. Also, feel free to check out the description below for links to any of the gear or hiking information resources I mention. Alrighty then, without further ado, let us begin.
I want to see mountains again! Mountains! FinerBub.
So, a couple weeks ago, my brother and I drove up to Catskill Park with his 5-month-old puppy Halifax for our 2nd annual pilgrimage to the Slide Mountain Wilderness. Those of you who've seen last year's video about backpacking the 15-mile Burroughs Range Trail loop will know that we started that loop at the Woodland Valley Campground, then spent the first day making our way up to Wittenberg Mountain before traversing over Mount Cornell and camping at one of the many tent sites between Cornell and Slide Mountain. And then we spent our 2nd day traversing over the top of Slide Mountain before making our way back to the car over 2 miles of road and this section of the Phoenicia East Branch Trail. However, given that this was the puppy's first overnighter, we decided it would be better to shorten this year's hike. So instead of hiking the entire Burroughs Range Trail loop, we decided that we'd park at the Slide Mountain Trailhead, spend the first day hiking over Slide Mountain before camping out and spending the 2nd day retracing our steps back to the car. The Slide Mountain Trail covers a short 3 miles over rocky, intermediate level terrain to the peak of Slide Mountain, which makes for a great day hike for beginner hikers or families with kids. It's also an excellent option for more experienced hikers who are looking for a shorter warm-up or cool-down day before or after hiking something a bit more challenging. After leaving the Slide Mountain parking area and crossing over the west branch of the Neversink River, the first 0.8 mile section of the Slide Mountain Trail follows yellow markers before turning left at this intersection and switching to red trail markers. Most of the climb takes place during this 1.3 mile section. Once you reach the ridgeline and the trail starts to flatten out, you'll hit another intersection with signs pointing you towards the summit of Slide Mountain. To be perfectly honest, there's not all that much to see from the peak. There's a big rock with a plaque dedicated to the memory of John Burroughs, which is a nice spot to eat some lunch, but doesn't offer all that much of a view. The best view is actually just before the peak, off of the left-hand side of the trail. However, it's a pretty small outcrop that can get crowded, so if you're hiking this route on a weekend, it's better to eat lunch at the top in order to give other hikers an opportunity to check out the view. So yeah, if you're just planning a day hike, at this point, you just need to retrace your steps back to your car. If you want more of a longer day hike, you can add a couple extra miles in either direction or both directions if you're feeling ambitious by skipping the first intersection and taking your left turn at the Curtis Ormsby Monument instead. You can also start at the Denning parking area at the end of Denning Road, but I've never gone that way. I just thought I'd mention it since it's a bit longer. Since we planned to camp out, we continued on over the peak towards the tent sites on the route to Mount Cornell. This next section, descending down the eastern side of Slide Mountain, contained the most challenging terrain of our hike and required hands and feet in more than a few locations. In more than one spot, my brother had to climb down, take off his pack before climbing back up to retrieve the puppy. After hiking a 0.2 mile section from the peak that contained a few drop-offs and a couple ladders, we reached the water spring where we filled up our bottles and continued our descent towards the designated tent sites. Knowing that we would hit the spring just before the tent sites, we intentionally packed a few extra empty water bottles so that we could fill up enough water to last us through dinner and breakfast the next morning. Unfortunately, the extra water weight made the last few rock scramble sections a lot more difficult, forcing us to move much more slowly.
Just wait. It's okay, it's okay. We'll come right back. Tivo, he's gonna come right back for you. Don't you worry, don't you worry. He's not leaving you.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, go to daddy. Go to daddy.
Good boy. Good boy. Okay. Okay.
Nice and easy. Yay, good boy. All right, now my turn. You gonna carry me? Whoa. Okay, here we go. And the step. This water is heavy. God bless you. I'm coming. Okay. Okay, we made it. Whew. That was a doozy.
Once the trail starts to flatten out and you pass the sign indicating that you've descended below the 3,500 foot camping limit, you'll start to see the signs for the tent sites.
Now we're officially below 3,500 feet, so we can find a campsite. Check back in when we do.
We arrived pretty early in the afternoon, so we had our pick of the sites. However, it wasn't long before they all filled up, so just know that if you're hiking this on a weekend, this camping spot is pretty popular, and if you arrive too late in the day, you're likely to get stuck with the sites that no one else wants. But like I said, we arrived pretty early, so after passing on one site that was too wet and another that was too windy, we finally found one that was just right.
Look what we found. A nice tent site. No. You got a good bench? Okay, yeah, okay. I'm glad this worked out. Oh, look, there's even grill grates here.
We had a pretty solid day overall, especially considering that we drove for 3 hours before the hike even began. So even though the hike was pretty short, it was nice to be able to dust off my backpacking gear, spend some time with my brother, and bear witness to his new puppy's first backpacking adventure.
Alright, so it's getting pretty dark. We've set up camp and we've been just chilling by the fire a little bit. But we're gonna cook up some food and then go to bed. So see you in the morning. Well, we survived the night. Now, let's go see if the bareback made it. Ooh. It's cold. Ooh, it's icy cold. Yep, there we go. So, we're just packing up our tents right now. Then we're gonna have a little oatmeal for breakfast and then head back over the slide mountain and to the car. So as is tradition with this hike, we ran out of water again. We finished the last of our water and we made some oatmeal this morning. So now we're heading back up to the spring, which is all the way up there. You can see, bam. We're back at 3,500 feet. Been trying out this outdoor research mask. Comes with a couple filters. Haven't been using the filters out here, but figured I'd try them out in like a more crowded setting. But yeah, the one thing that's different about this one compared to other reusable masks that I've used is that it actually has that metal wire going right here, so it holds its shape. But I don't know how long that'll last if I keep folding it and putting it in my pocket, that type of thing. If it'll eventually snap, like I don't know, who knows, but testing it, so I'll let you know how it goes. afterwards. But how do I look? Let us not stand on ceremony, Master Wayne. Whew. It's a doozy, this slide mountain. Well, at least from the backside. Steve, I don't think I've done an overnight since our overnight last year.
Oh, like you just did camping?
Yeah. Getting up there. Oh, I think we're there. Are we? I don't know. Are we at the spring? Sweet. Oh, yay, water. Wow. Pumpkin Spice Mountain.
You need to drink more water.
That's for you, puppy. That's for you. You cute little boy. Oh, I got you. Shake, shake, shake.
All right. Leaving the spring. Final ascent. Ooh. Oh yeah. Forgot about these ladders. We're getting there. Oh, are we at the top? Oh, sweet.
After hitting the spring, the peak of Slide Mountain marked the end of the more difficult terrain and led us into the final and most leisurely stretch of our hike.
Good job, puppy. You made it all the way up. Good work. Not much of a view from the top of Slide. All right, our second summiting of Slide Mountain in a day, and my fourth overall. Good hike, good hike. So now we just have about, I think 2.7 back to the car. Nice and easy going. Shouldn't be any hiccups. We Can knock on wood. Knock on spruce. So that's Wittenberg and Cornell, and we camped right down in that green patch right there. Look at those pumpkin spice mountains. Hi. Not that way, boo-boo. That's the Phoenicia East branch. That's what we took last time, except not this part of it. Drinking water is so good. Ah ha ha ha.
Who's there?
We are now crossing the 3,500-foot barrier. We are now free to camp. Hooray! No, we're going home now. No more camping. Foliage, foliage. It's feeding time.
Even though the Slide Mountain Trail is pretty rocky, the slope is pretty mild and didn't require much effort compared to the rest of our trip. I do still stand by what I said last time about hiking the loop counterclockwise. However, it should be noted that even though doing so will provide better access to drinking water, descending the rock scramble sections on the eastern side of Slide Mountain was much more difficult than going up the other way, especially with the puppy and the large overnight packs. Speaking of large packs, some of you might remember that last year I loaned my Osprey Exos 58 to my brother so that I could test how well my Osprey Stratos 34 worked for overnighters. If you missed my review, the short answer was that it was a bit small despite the fact that we only carried one tent between the two of us. This year, however, the puppy wasn't the only new addition to our second annual Catskills backpacking tradition, and let me preface this by saying that I don't necessarily get quite as excited by new outdoor gear as I do by new puppies, but it was definitely titillating for me to witness my brother gradually building out his first backpacking kit and be there to witness the maiden voyage of his new Osprey Stratos 50 pack and the christening of his new REI Quarter Dome 2 tent. And just as a side note, be sure to check out last week's pack dump video if you're curious about some of the other gear we brought on this trip.
What was that?
And that's really all there is to it. All in all, despite only hiking a short distance over mostly mild terrain, extending this classic northeastern day hike into an overnight backpacking trip made for a fun experience, especially since I got to share it with my brother and his new puppy. So there you have it, folks. I'd like to wish a very warm welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. If this is the first video of mine that you've seen, I just want to let you know that I also make gear review videos in addition to the hiking guides like this one. So if you're curious about some of the gear I used on this hike, or you just want to learn about some more exciting new places via yours truly, I'll leave some links down below that should suit you quite nicely.
So, looks like 0.3 and 0.4, yeah, 0.7, a little less than 0.7 since we're part of the way down. Let's call it 0.6. Now, 0.6 to the finish line. That way. Oh boy.
Do you have your filler upper handy?
Yeah,
Should we fill up a bottle of this stream water?
sure.
You wanna give me-
He's licking his paws. Hi.
Alrighty, my people, that concludes today's episode of the FinerBub Show. If you've already hiked Slide Mountain or the Burroughs Range Trail, or if you're thinking about checking one of them out for the first time, I'd love to have you comment below, especially if you think your insight can help me disprove something that I think I already know. But before you do, I just want to thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you're planning your next trip or looking for new gear, don't let the small details stress you out. Remember, life's an adventure. So relax, breathe in the outdoors, and don't forget to appreciate the finer things in life. See you out there, people. Peace.
I think I found the talking dog. I'm gonna be first. I'm gonna be first. I'm gonna be first again. I'm gonna be first. He's smelling me. First. I win. Suckers!